In this video I want to show you a new feature of Web Content Studio. This feature is only found in Web Content Studio version 2 and it was added around about 2.0.0.40. So if you're using 2.0.0.40 or later, I'm using 2.0.0.41, then this feature will be here. Let me just open up an article to show you, and this is my test version. Okay, I've got an article there. And the new feature is this button over here, and it's a tree view of the document. I'm calling it the document panel because it does more than just a tree view. Let me just click it and show you what it does. Okay, first off, we've got two tabs. We've got navigation and search. The navigation just brings back the headlines of your article, and you can click on those to quickly navigate to that section of the article. So if you wanted to quickly make edits on why is exercise important, you could click on that, and then that section is the bit that is shown in the editor. What's really useful is the search, and what you can do is you can search for words or phrases in your document, and it will bring up a list here of where that word or phrase appears in your document with some context, so you can actually read around what the search term, or read around the search term you've typed in. So for example, if I type in gestational, I can see that down here I've got what happens to gestational diabetes after my baby is born. In this one I got during pregnancy, mothers with gestational diabetes need to. This one, gestational diabetes, and you can quickly jump to that part of the document just by clicking on it, and it will then highlight that section. So let's try a different one. Okay, and then we have the gestational here. Okay, now why would this be useful? Well, the reason I use it, let me open up one of my own articles further down, which I was working on yesterday. Okay, let me just close this panel for a second. I'm going to go up to the options and theme report settings and make sure that I've got warn if keyword goes over, and I've got this set to 1% density, and phrase is also set to 1. Now that might sound really low, but to me anything over 1% means that a word or phrase is being repeated every time, every 100 words within the article, and that can sound forced. So it's not that I won't allow a word to go over 1% or a phrase, it's just that I want to be notified if they do, so I can make sure that I'm not overdoing it and that that word doesn't sound forced or stuffed within the article. So that is the new setting that I have. Okay, let's run a theme report. And we can have a look at the theme report and we can see which words or phrases occur more than 1%. We've got antibiotics, probiotics or probiotic, bacteria, 19, and also gut. Let me take the exact match off. Okay, and it's the same content as we've also got food there. Not worried about food, not worried about gut. Let's say that perhaps I think the word bacteria is found too many times. What can you do? Well, what I would do is I'd now open up this document interface. You can see there's the navigation, the tree view of the document showing the headlines. And the headline right next to the border is H1, then indented is H2, and then H3 is indented again. Okay, I'm interested in the word bacteria. So if I type in bacteria, I can then find all of the places where bacteria occurs. And there was something like 20 different places. If I scroll down here, you can see that there's only 14 listed, but that's because each of these may actually contain the word more than once. Only the first time is it actually highlighted. So for example, you can see bacteria is there, it is also there. So in this case, there's 2 occurrences of the word bacteria. What I would want to do is see, can I take out the word bacteria and replace it with something else, try to reduce the density of that word. And this gives me the context just to read where the word is being used and say, okay, yeah, I can probably reduce that. So let's have a look at this one. So bacteria is occurring actually twice in this. We've got when we have an infection that is caused by bacteria, doctors will often prescribe an antibiotic course of treatment. The problem is that most of them are not specific to a particular strain of disease causing bacteria and can therefore indiscriminately kill all bacteria in its path. Well, I can quite easily take out at least one of these two. There's 2 more bacteria in there. The problem is that most of them are not specific to a particular strain. Let's have a look. We are infection. The problem is that most of them are not specific to a particular strain of disease causing, I could just put bug in there and that will take out the word bacteria for me, and then I could rerun my theme report and see whether I'm out of the woods with the word bacteria or not. We've still got 18. I could have a look and see if I wanted to do it more, but as I said, I'm not overly interested in whether a word goes over 1%. The words that make up the main idea of the article, in this case, should you be taking probiotics with antibiotics? So antibiotics I would expect to be quite high. Probiotic or probiotics I'd expect to be quite high. And of course bacteria is all to do with this, so I'd expect that to be high as well. So I'm not overly concerned with that. But you get the idea that you can use this search feature to find occurrences of, let me just save that, to find occurrences of specific words or phrases. Go back to this gestational diabetes and let's have a look. Blood, it's updated with blood there, and let me say blood glucose, so you can actually type phrases in as well and then it will find those words and phrases, but it gives you an overview of where the word or phrase is being used, and then you can quickly jump to that section. If you have a problem word or phrase that's used too many times, just do a search for it. Find where it occurs in the article, skim down this section and say, well, okay, I could probably remove it from that section or replace it with something else. Okay, so that's the new feature. It's the navigation, the document panel, and you call it with this button up here and you get rid of it with that button up there as well. You can also drag it across if you want to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, that's it.